Hello everyone, welcome to Policy Pulse, the podcast where we discuss about insurance and its impact on our lives. So today we have a special episode where we'll be discussing about insuring the future. So what is future belongs to? Future belongs to embedded insurance. So our topic is embedded insurance and modern coverage. So for that special episode we have a special guest to whom I know had the mind of a traditional insurance broker and the energy of a young startup guy. So today we have Mr. Yashesh Sampat, Senior Vice President, Gallagher Insurance Brokers, to whom I have met a couple of times in various events in the insurance industry. And as I said, he has the brain of a traditional insurance broker, the knowledge of a traditional insurance broker, but the energy with which he speaks about insurance is the energy of a young little kid who wants to learn more about insurance every day. So this is how I found Yashesh and his energy. He's been invited as a speaker in a lot of colleges to uplift the knowledge of the students studying in the college. So welcome Yashesh to the podcast.
Thank you, Hitesh, to have me over on this podcast. It's very exciting to be part of your podcast series. I've been following up your podcast from so many months where industry leaders whom you brought about trying to add value to this insurance industry, and good that you consider we from Gallagher to add the value to the insurance ecosystem. Brief about me, I've been part of this insurance industry for almost 2 decades plus. This is just my third job in last 20 years plus. So stability and long-term vision does matter for everybody if you want to make your mark into this industry. With Gallagher for last 12 to 13 years, it was erstwhile Edelweiss in India, and Gallagher took it over. And as rightly mentioned by you, you need to have that energy and spark as a kid. So I believe that the work should start from the kids. So I mentored a lot of insurance students in India from various B schools, and it's great to see that they're going places and they are having some great presence into the insurance sector at key positions and adding value. And in fact, insurance runs a little bit in my blood, and this is just the fourth generation of my insurance which I am into it. But that is not what it is all about. It is every day you learn, you unlearn, and again relearn, and then bring about that same spark that yes, today I want to do something different, and how we can add value to the ecosystem. So great to be a part of this podcast, and I'm sure the chat with you would be very, very exciting and would benefit the overall industry as a whole and the audience as a whole.
So Yashesh sir, as we will be speaking about embedded insurance and modern coverages in India. So a lot of listeners will be new to the term embedded. So just for the listeners, we want to know more about how embedded insurance work and what is this entire new embedded insurance, because in the previous ecosystem we have not heard about this embedded insurance kind of thing, and it is a new term, and embedded insurance is a term which we are using, or it is actually helping for the insurance penetration. How do you see it?
Okay, it is just like Hitesh, how the Indian team right now in the Cricket World Cup has been into the red hot form. The word terminology phrase embedded insurance is a red hot thing in the insurance sector right now. It is a hybrid model of a traditional insurance but in a new avatar, okay, which is off late being used for insurance penetration. And it is not just about a traditional product which is available on the shelf where people can just go and buy, but it is about innovation, it is about new ideas to be put into it, it is about making affordable insurance for the end user to buy. So you are seeing embedded innovations happening in all sectors, right from travel, right from delivery apps, right from hospitality, right from ticketing, and so on, including the lifestyle based products. And the more about an embedded, the beauty is that it is more used as an attachment product, and it's a highly well perceived proposition for the corporates in India to give some great value proposition to their end consumers, through which they can actually benefit and see the end product having a great tangible value to it.
That's great, Yashish, and I think a lot of viewers will now understand the term embedded insurance and how it will be benefiting the consumer market in India. But how do you see the integration of insurance with the other brands and products will actually benefit the consumers?
Very good question, Hitesh. In fact, that is a mantra for success. If you want to make embedded insurance actually deliver the end value to the consumer, and your question is very, very interesting because how the embedded insurance is put up to brands in India and both marry each other, eventually leading to the end value proposition would hold the key. And just to give you some statistics, embedded insurance can be a great enabler for an embedded finance industry. And if things go well, we see a 46% approx growth in the embedded finance space to almost 1,61,000 crores in next 5 to 6 years being enabled by embedded insurance. So just to take some few great success stories which we have seen, a lot of these NBFCs, a lot of MFIs, a lot of banks use insurance as a tool to manage their own book, where they protect the loanee against any natural death, any accidental death, disability, critical illness, right, including loss of jobs, and their books are also protected as well as an individual risk is protected. That's a great success story in India of embedded insurance. We are seeing in all travel websites in India these days, on your online portals, airlines portals, that insurance is used as a tool, and as good as less than $1 today or less than 20 or 30 rupees, I can have my Bombay Delhi or a Bombay Bangalore trip being insured for various reasons, right from missing my flights or missing my important meetings due to any personal exigency which can happen at home with my family, or there can be a natural calamity and I miss my flight. So you have insurances which are coming up in a very affordable form. You are seeing a lot of apps. The delivery apps are also using insurance as a tool to push their products. You are seeing innovations already happening into the auto industry also, where apart from the traditional motor insurance which the dealer model has been offering in India, you are seeing other value-added products also which the dealers and the OEMs are using as a tool to increase their bottom line, increase the customer acquisition. You're seeing innovations happening in telcos, where telcos are using insurance as a tool in India. This has been a great success model in overseas market, and we see that too soon happening in Indian market, okay, where in a very affordable form, either in form of your prepaid packs, in form of your postpaid packs, insurance can be very well added to it, and eventually you increase the penetration of insurance.
That's correct, Yashish. And even if we see that insurance is everywhere in today's world, right from our UPI app to having the shoes insurance as well nowadays, to our mobile phones, to our credit cards, and to the travel, wherever we travel we do purchase insurance. So embedded insurance really have a future, which we can see from this point, that this shows that embedded insurance really have a future in India. Moving to the innovations in India, what are the key innovations you have seen in the recent years in insurance?
Very, very again and very interesting question, Hitesh. The insurance innovation has been led brilliantly by the regulator, where in last couple of years everybody in this industry knows how regulator has created a reform scenario into this sector, where a fantastic vision and mission is there that by 2047 India needs to have like 100% insurance for all. That itself speaks that what we are talking is in almost 2 decades from now, the entire Indian population has to be insured in some or the other form. And to add to it, each of the insurance companies in India, the regulator has given them the zone-wise, state-wise allocations to lead the initiative for insurance penetration. So I think that is one of the biggest innovations in the mind. It is a more of a mindset innovation which the regulator has done in form of this wonderful reform. That is one of the key things. To add to it, there is another brilliant reforms in form of technological advancements which we are seeing in insurance distribution, in insurance penetration, in insurance sales, into risk management, into claims management. So your AIs, your blockchains are all coming into the foray, and where the entire consumer experience, which is one of the biggest ask for any consumer when he buys an insurance product is being streamlined so beautifully with this advancement of the technologies that the confidence of a consumer that yes, insurance will pay for me if any eventuality happens is actually getting realized with a seamless experience with this technology is bringing it about. To add to it, regulator is giving a very free hand for insurers in India to use sandbox as a tool to innovate. Earlier it was like file and use as a product which we were talking about, but now with use and file as a model and sandbox both, insurers are given a free hand that yes, we are giving you the hand to just go all about, think differently, think out of the box, think like that startup kid who wants to create a point that yes, I can do differently things, and giving a platform for insurers that yes, this is an open zone for you. Just go all about and make the mission and vision of 2047 insurance for all a realistic, achievable scenario.
So true, the insurance for all by 2047, and then some of the key initiatives by the regulator like Bima Sugam, Bima Vahak, they are actually creating some noise in the Indian insurance market, and I think this is what we have discussed, that is the actual UPI movement of insurance in India. These are some actually groundbreaking changes. And continuing the discussion about the innovations, would you like to give us some of the example where the actual innovation has happened and maybe which will impact us in future?
Hitesh, as I mentioned earlier, it is all in your mind, right? And how the insurance industry as a whole, right from the regulator, right from insurance companies, the intermediaries, the insured techs, the surveyors, the claim managers, how all of them come together and have an open mindset that yes, I want to innovate what I am doing in a traditional way to the modern way to things, because you are now having UPIs, you are having your digital payments, you are having net bankings. In seconds you are able to purchase any tickets, book movie tickets and travel all around the world. So is insurance industry actually adapting to the demand of the consumer today? Are we thinking that yes, if I will do this, then the confidence and the trust factor which my consumer will have on me when I'm giving him a solution would be actually possible? If the answer is yes and my heart and mind says yes, then I think I have actually innovated. But genuinely, if I have to ask my heart this question, I have not been able to innovate as an industry, right? While we at Gallagher have been thinking and implementing and have done some craziest of the wackiest of the programs where millions of consumers across the industries in different sectors have been influenced with embedded insurance products for almost last 8 to 9 years. Okay, we are one of the silent market leaders into this space, but we continue to innovate into it, and that innovation comes at how you bring about like-minded people, share your ideas to them, share the ideas to the insurers, align to them that this what we are trying to do is not something which is just a small experiment which we want to do. It is for a purpose, it is for a common cause which we want to do to it. And I think one of the biggest innovations which I think will happen in the insurance sector is your Bima Sugam, which you just spoke few minutes back. And if Bima Sugam, which was actually going to happen this year, will happen in few months from now on, that will create like a platform, like you'll be having an Amazon of insurance for an end consumer to buy it. So whether they want to go to insurer A, insurer B for traditionally retail products, of course commercial insurances cannot be bought on a digital platform because an Indian consumer still requires to meet, greet, understand and all. But traditional products, embedded products, I see that reform coming up. And on this Bima Sugam as a platform, definitely the attachment ratios, the retail pie of the business of insurance companies is going to go up when you know that there is something like ONDC of insurance which is coming up and driven and embedded and authorized and stamped by the regulator. A consumer will definitely trust them more than any other channels which are there. And I see that innovation to create a great reform of people from an uninsured zone to moving to an insured zone, and the percentages moving towards more achievable 2047 mission.
Thank you, Yashish. And as a young insurance professional, I've been admiring a lot of people in the insurance industry, and I've been seeing that even the chairman of the regulator is speaking about the data driven insurance industry in India. So, where we are moving forward on the same. But as every coin has two sides, so what are the few challenges or problems which you are seeing to achieve this mission?
Oh, that's a very tricky question, and I don't know if I answer it exactly the way you want me to answer, how the industry will look at it. But let's be very honest to this, okay? One of the biggest challenge I mention is alignment of every stakeholder into this market. That yes, we want to change, and that change has to be brought now, not wait for somebody else to bring about the change, right? And that change is in terms of all aspects which I earlier discussed, right? The like-minded people or the not so like-minded people all have to think out of the box, have to go beyond the paradigm shift and move towards to do innovations into this sector and listen, understand, and try to experiment with an open mind that yes, what we are trying to do is not something which is just a fly-by-night operation, and again we cannot do it, but it is for a common purpose with a long-term vision, right? But at the same point of time, everything cannot be a smooth cakewalk for anybody into this sector. When you innovate, when you bring new things, comes with own challenges to it, right? The challenges is one is how the top line and the bottom line of the insurance sector both will be maintained into it. Second, most important, the backbone of all this is that consumer experience and the trust factor, okay, which he wants to see to it when he is buying an insurance product. With technology upgrades, with more of a digital involvement and less of a physical involvement, has its own pros and cons, right? And even when we talk about sandbox and all, it is not that easy that I just decide today I want to innovate, so I'll launch something and tomorrow if it is failure then I'll move out. It's a trust of the consumer which is a very important factor which has to be maintained and continuously protected about it, is to be taken care. And one of the biggest challenge which I see is that into this journey of our vision and mission for 2047 or innovating to it, how are we creating the buzz in the market by innovating with different embedded programs into different industries into this country and create a platform for people that yes, embedded or the bundling of insurance, what we call in a traditional way, is going to add value to me as a corporate, is going to add value to my consumers, is going to contribute to my bottom line and eventually help to increase the top line also of my company and retain my customers with adding more and more with a good word which it will spread that yes, they are creating an ecosystem of insurance in some or the other form which wasn't ever available, and me now buying an embedded insurance and another product is helping me to be protected in at least some or the other form which I wasn't ever doing to it.
So, as we have discussed about the challenges in this segment, what are the key solutions which you advise to the insurance industry professionals so that the overall insurance penetration can go up?
Hitesh, this is something which is an evolving and an ongoing process. We at Gallagher almost have completed almost a century into this business globally. And in India also, we have tried to lead the transformation into the question which you pose by facilitating more regular dialogues with the insurance industry and bringing about the ecosystem of consumers also together with the insurance industry and innovating on more of the new products which fulfill the end user's requirement. One of the key solution would be that how different stakeholders, be it an insurer or an intermediary or a claim adjudicators wherever required, come together and have a regular ongoing meetings but with a purpose of execution what is discussed in the meeting and not remaining just as a minutes of the meeting, right? And this has to be reviewed with numbers where regulator, intermediaries, insurers are all having some sort of a minimum number which I have to achieve into this to be prescribed. How the regulator puts a target that minimum social obligation is this much. Can there be a scenario where there can be a minimum embedded target being put in, minimum number of lives to be insured in embedded form by each insurer? If we bring about such change of mindset, I will definitely see that what we are talking about embedded will be more realistic and people will accept it with an open mind.
So, as we wrap up, where do you see the Indian insurance industry heading towards, and also how people can come across and learn more about the embedded insurance as a subject matter, and how they can polish their information about the embedded insurance?
Good one, yeah. So insurance industry is definitely poised for a robust growth. The statistics for last 3 to 4 years, COVID and post-COVID itself talk that how much was the attachment ratio of insurance, specifically in the health sector. The lifestyles of people are changing, right? More complexities of risk are coming up. More of the health risks are coming up. So you are seeing products with long-term also, like 3 years health insurance or a long-term annual travel policies for my day-to-day travel risk. All are coming into this sector. Right. So Hitesh, one very important factor would be that how insurance industry professionals, intermediaries, insurance companies who have been doing traditional form of insurances like property or marine or health think differently, okay, and do still those traditional insurances but in a different avatars, bring about the insurance companies to accept what they are thinking, and at the same point of time the insurance company should also reciprocate to the requirements of the industry where they are coming up with an open mindset. Both should actually come on a common platform and have that minimum sort of a number target that this is what we want to achieve in next 6 months to a year's time, and that itself will create the much necessary buzz into the market. And I'm telling you, this market is so big, every intermediary, every insurer has enough of space to grow into this market. And insurance is not about cutting throats and cutting competition by price wars. It is also more on collaborative approach of the entire ecosystem of the insurance which we live in and which we breathe in. And it is more about coming together. So at Gallagher, we collaborate with different ecosystem stakeholders, intermediaries, insurers, and derive the targets what we want to do and achieve our common purposes. And I will be very, very happy if we can lead that initiative for the insurance sector in India and bring about that radical change and influence the lives of the common man with our open mindset approach.
And that brings us to the end of the episode. Thank you, Yashesh sir, for joining us here.
Thank you, Hitesh, for having us at your podcast. And for Gallagher, it means a lot that through your podcast we'll be able to reach out and communicate to the masses as well as to the classes of this country that how insurance can actually be a very crucial role if you all come together for a common purpose. And I'm sure post this podcast, the Gallagher's business will also go up because we are one of the market leaders. But on a jokes apart, it would be a great thing that you all come together and we collaborate for a common purpose, and we are happy to work closely with all the stakeholders for achieving our common mission. And a small thank you to you for coming over and a small gift from Gallagher for your presence. Thanks a lot.